while Miss Costic starts continuing to throw insults. She pulls out her cell phone once again, starts videotaping me over my fence. At this time, I want to add again, I just got home and I was in my intimates. I was in my brassiere. I ran out to see my dogs barking, and she still continued to film me in my intimates as she was harassing me about my career choice. This is about Miss Costic's behavior, about how she's aggressive, feels the need to videotape me, harass me, and call me names over the fence. Over what issue? A fence that was fixed. It is more than that issue. It is Miss Costic's aggression, her behavior, and her obsession.
Let me interject this.
No. Ms. Duplechain, no.
Let me interject, please.
No. One witness at a time. Ms. Costic, if you would stand, please, and Ms. Duplechain, both of you raise your right hands. Swear that testimony in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes,
sir.
Thank you. You may be seated. All right, and Ms. Costic, the two of you are neighbors, is that correct? Pardon me, I'm sorry, Ms. Duplechain, the two of you are neighbors, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you say that Ms. Costic has been taking photos and videos of you and she yells at you.
Yes, sir. She's been constantly harassing me in my household, being a nuisance. And now it has come to my attention. She has been photographing and videoing me. And when I came to, I have a whole, I would like to read something. May I read something about the situation?
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Go ahead. Okay.
Go
On
ahead,
April
this is your time.
17th, approximately 12:30 p.m., I got home. I just walked in the front door to let my dogs out to go potty before I started my shower. I was alerted by my dogs barking very loudly. I looked out my window, my sliding glass window that is facing my backyard, and I caught Miss Costic videotaping over my 6-foot fence into the backyard from the corner of the photo shown. She was seen hiding behind a corner of her shed. While she quickly heard me open the door, she quickly left. This is not the first time I've witnessed Miss Costic in this sort of behavior. When I noticed Miss Costic's videotaping, I immediately opened my sliding glass door to walk out into my backyard and ask why. As soon as I did, in a polite manner, Miss Costic turned the corner and suddenly became very hostile and aggressive. She stated she has and was been texting me these videos. I blocked Miss Costic about 2 years ago due to her bothersome text messages. I do not have any contact with Miss Costic. But I guess the message wasn't cleared when I haven't been responding years at a time. She then started yelling at me, throwing insults at my career choice. She was screaming so loud, I'm sure the whole entire neighborhood heard her. It was very extreme and sudden and quickly became more aggressive. I was very shooken up. I noticed as she was yelling at me, her face became red and she started to approach me towards the fence. I noticed that this time she was alarmingly aggressive. I asked her why, and she just continued to mock me and yell at me, throwing insults about my career choice. I am unsure why. At that time, I go to turn around and walk in my home while Miss Costic starts continuing to throw insults. She pulls out her cell phone once again, starts videotaping me over my fence. At this time, I want to add again, I just got home and I was in my intimates. I was in my brassiere. I ran out to see my dogs barking, and she still continued to film me in my intimates as she was harassing me about my career choice. I just walked in the door and I get hit with all this. This is not okay, and this is absolutely unacceptable. I feel on edge due to the unpredictability of Miss Costic's behavior. I will not stand for Miss Costic's constant harassment and intimidation tactics. I will not stand for a 50-year-old screaming at me and trying to belittle me while trying to videotape me for her pleasure. Miss Costic is a constant nuisance. We have since built an 8-foot fence to stop Miss Costic from watching us. It is up. I was and still am very worried about Miss Costic, and she may become violent. I was unsure if she had any weapons at the time, but I could tell, her demeanor seemed very threatening. I'm unsure what I did to deserve this, but it frightened me. It proved Miss Costic is aggressive. She's a loose cannon and unpredictable, and I'm unsure when she'll fire off.
Okay, so let me ask you some questions.
I'm sorry, I want to add one thing. I'm sorry, excuse me. I do want to add one thing. I would like to add again that I'm stressing this because I'm a domestic violence survivor. We moved in this home 2 years ago because our last home was unsafe. Okay, I have to protect myself and my mother. I do not have any social medias. I do not have any photos of me out there. I need to protect my home and myself and my mother. I should feel safe and I shouldn't have to worry about that. I don't want my pictures on the internet. I don't want Miss Costic filming me. I do not have consent for that. She's never had consent. I have to protect myself, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. So, Ms. Duplechain, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Duplechain.
Duplechain. Ms. Duplechain, tell me what you think started all this.
I believe Miss Costic had an issue with our fence. The fence has been fixed. Anytime there's been an issue in the past, Miss Costic reached out to my mother who owns the home. I am unsure why she continues to harass me. I just live here, Your Honor. I work full time, I do everything. I live here and help my mom out.
I'd like to interject, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Duplechain, I haven't sworn you in. If you'll raise your right hand. Swear the testimony in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay, now we're going to do it one at a time. So go ahead. You can put your hand down. That's fine. We're going to first start with what Willow said. So, Mr. Coker, do you have any questions for Willow Duplechain?
I do. Miss Willow Duplechain, you say, you're using words like constantly harass. You're using words like she's doing this for her own pleasure. She's doing this because she's a loose cannon. We have the declaration that you submitted to this court, and then you just read into basically the record, your declaration. So you referenced an incident that involved like a tree that had fallen between the properties maybe a year or so ago.
That has nothing to do with anything. That she wrote a letter to my mother, and that was done. This is about Miss Costic's behavior, about how she's aggressive, feels the need to videotape me, harass me, and call me names over the fence. Over what issue? A fence that was fixed. The fence was fixed. It is more than that issue. It is Miss Costic's aggression, her behavior, and her obsession.
Let me interject this.
No. Ms. Duplechain, no.
Let me interject, please.
No. One witness at a time.
All right, and Miss Willow Duplechain. So I understand now it doesn't mean anything, but you referenced this tree incident in your declaration. And then in your statement today, you mentioned that there were some harassing text as you indicated. But now you're saying that's irrelevant?
I'm saying what is irrelevant is the tree, Your Honor, or sir, I'm sorry, the tree that fell on the fence. Okay. There is the text message. I'm saying Miss Costic, when she came to yell at me that day, sir, she admitted that she has been texting my phone these videos. That is why she was videotaping. She's been texting me these videos. I do not get texts. I have blocked her 2 years ago due to her. I do not want any, Your Honor, I do not want any contact.
All right,
with
Ms. Duplechain. Okay. Right now, all you're doing is answering the specific question asked. So, Mr. Coker.
And then Your Honor has copies of the text messages that we've submitted. So Ms. Duplechain, last question. On this incident that you alleged occurred on the 17th of April, there's been issues with your dogs coming into Ms. Costic's yard, correct? Or you don't know, do you even know if there was any issues?
No, sir, there is no issues. We have a fence gated around our full property. There is no entrance.
Okay, so is it your opinion then if it would be impossible for your dogs? You have a couple pit bulls, correct?
Excuse me?
You have a couple pit bull dogs, is that correct?
No, they're mixed breeds. That is nothing of the sort.
Whatever. You have 2 dogs, right?
I have 2 dogs.
And to your knowledge, now I understand you've ignored Miss Costic or blocked her or whatever, but to your knowledge, has Miss Costic ever complained to you in the last year about the fence, your fence being dilapidated, having holes in it, your dogs getting in her yard? Has she ever come to you, or to your knowledge, has she ever come to you?
No, sir, she has never came to me.
Okay. Other than the April 17th allegation of this incident that you're describing, you don't mention any other specific incidences of conflict between you and Ms. Costic in your declaration, and you really didn't. You've spoken in vague terms in your testimony today. Is there any specific incident with a date involving Ms. Costic other than the April 17th date that you mentioned in your declaration that was part of your petition?
No, sir.
All right.
Other than
Any
her
further questions?
constantly around the fence videotaping. I don't remember an exact date, but I remember last summer she was doing something of the sort. I usually just let it go, but now it's come to my attention because she is videotaping me.
And one more question, Ms. Willow Duplechain, did you, in this exchange that allegedly occurred on the 17th, were you berating Ms. Costic?
No, sir, I said nothing of the sort.
Did you ever refer to her as a quote psycho?
No, sir.
So none of that ever happened.
No, sir.
And you
I
mentioned
said she was
today,
mentally ill because she was videotaping me after she berated and belittled me about my career
okay,
and the kind
Now-
of person I was over a
Yeah.
fence or whatever she thought.
right. And did you make any comments at that time when were you angry on the April 17th date?
No, I was not.
Okay.
I had a
And you're
great
not
day.
angry to, and then today in your testimony, when you're reading the statement to the court, you made a specific comment as you didn't want a quote 50-year-old woman doing whatever she was doing. Did you make any comments about Ms. Costic's age in this interaction on the 17th?
Nope. Just
Did you make
today.
any allegations about her career or what she's doing at home?
No, sir, but she said that about me.
Okay, I don't have any further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And Yavana Duplechain, you may go ahead.
I just want to say, as a homeowner, she has never once approached me in 3 years to complain to me about any issues she had with the fence, the dogs, my property. She has never once. The last time I spoke to her was 3 years ago when we moved in. Okay, I'm the homeowner, not my 26-year-old daughter. She once had an issue with a tree. She sent me a certified letter instead of coming to my door and knocking nicely and saying, geez, there's a problem with the tree. Within a week, the tree was down. Her dogs have jumped. Dogs do that. They see each other through an old fence and they go at it, okay? Hers pushed the fence towards my it buckled into my yard, and I decided, okay, I've had enough. I hired a contractor last week. He came and fenced the whole property. There's no issue now. Okay. The issue is that my daughter walks out, and sometimes I walk out in little dresses into my yard, and she sees me from her window. And she came that day when my 26-year-old is in a bra and little pants and filming her. What is a 50-something-year-old woman doing, filming a young girl? We don't know what she's doing with that film. Is she spreading it on the internet? None of us have Facebook or anything. You know, that's got to stop. That's why we're here. We're not here for the fence. We're not here for the dogs. If she had an issue, she can talk to me as a professional woman, 2 professional women, and I will take care of it. I have taken care of everything. Okay. I'm even going to plant trees so that I don't have to look at her. But when she comes in aggressive behavior towards a young girl that already has domestic violence issues in her past, we're not going to have that.
Right. Mr. Coker, any questions for Yavana
This is our
Duplechain?
only avenue
No, I
that we
don't-
have for.
I don't think so. I think her statement is pretty clear. She didn't see anything.
Okay, for right now.
Okay,
no
she
question.
should be ashamed of
All
herself.
right. All right, and you wish to ask questions of Ms. Costic?
Do I, Your Honor? At this time,
Yes.
I'd move to dismiss at this point. I think that the petitioners failed to make their case. No temporary order was entered in this case. They haven't submitted any additional information. I'd move at this time for dismissal of the petition.
She
I'll
does,
deny that.
excuse
I
me,
think
she
that-
did it
okay,
once, and
no,
once is
okay, no,
enough.
Okay. I will deny the request to dismiss without argument of the parties, and I do think that there's at least a basis for the court to consider this. Ms. Duplechain, Willow, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
have you seen photos or videos that Ms. Costic has taken?
I haven't. I don't have social medias, but I would like her to produce those because did witness her videotaping me to my face, Your Honor. She was videotaping
Okay,
me and then I walked
okay,
away.
yeah, hold on.
Yes, sir.
I just need specific information.
Okay, yes,
All right,
sir.
so you see her taking photos or doing videos, you believe,
Yes, sir.
and your concern is that they're being posted. Do you have any indication that they have been posted anywhere? I understand you don't have social media. Has somebody told you they saw your
Nope,
photo
I'm
out
not on
there?
social media. I don't know why else she would take a video or a photo otherwise. For
Okay.
intimidation tactics or what? I'm not sure.
Okay. All right,
I'm
so
unsure.
your concern is, what is she doing? Apparently taking photos or
Yes,
videos.
and why is
That's
she
your concern.
harassing me and calling me names for no reason, Your Honor? We fixed everything. I just want peace in my home, Your Honor. That's all I would like.
Okay, after the fence was fixed
Yes, sir.
and you're in the backyard with your
There's
dogs
been no issues since, Your Honor.
since the fence was fixed, there's
Yes,
been no
sir. It's
issues?
been very peaceful. I would like it
Okay,
to remain that way.
All right, Ms. Duplechain. I'm trying to get a handle on this. So what you're saying now is that the interactions between you and Ms. Costic stopped after the fence was fixed, or they've continued?
They stopped. I do not want any contact with Miss Costic.
Okay, when was the last time you heard from Ms. Costic?
On April 17th when that happened.
But we don't know what she does behind her.
Okay, one at a time, please. Okay, so how about was there interaction between you and Ms. Costic prior to the fence issue on the 17th of April?
Yes.
And
She's constantly on the corner of my fence over here. She likes to talk to my dogs, poke at my dogs. I usually let it go. I never had an issue. I let them in. I say, okay, dogs, come inside. I know she has an issue. It seems obviously with my dogs. We fixed the fence. Everything is over. I'm just seeking protection, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, so Ms. Duplechain, so all of this that you described then, did all of this just occur on the 17th of April?
Yes, sir. Other than her prior, I blocked her when she was
And
texting.
why did you block her prior to the fence issue?
Because she was constantly texting me and I don't want any contact with Miss Costic.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to let
I don't
Okay.
want to talk to her.
One
I
at a
don't want
time.
to have a reason. I don't want to talk to her. She's 50 years
Okay.
old and I'm 26.
Okay, well, I'm not sure what the age difference has to do with it, but what was she texting you?
I'm not the homeowner. I don't
What
know,
was-
Your Honor. I blocked her. She
No,
wanted
but-
our dogs to have a play date, I think, at first, and I have too many things to do. I do not want a relationship with Miss Costic.
And
She doesn't get it.
Okay,
She would
so,
ask Willow to go in
okay,
the
Ms.
hot tub.
Duplechain,
Yeah.
Yavana Duplechain, I know you're the mom and you want to be protective. This is a court. We're
I
doing
know,
it
I
by
understand.
witness, please.
I understand.
Okay, so Willow, I need your full attention here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at some point in time, you said Ms. Costic was reaching out to you, apparently benignly, for play dates with dogs. Eventually you just didn't want to do it and you got tired of hearing from her.
Yes, sir.
And so you blocked.
Yes, sir.
Okay, which is fine. You're certainly entitled to do that. And at that point,
At
when
that
you,
point, everything
okay, hold
was-
on.
I'm
No,
sorry.
let me ask the questions. After you blocked her, when did you next hear from Ms. Costic?
April 17th, Your Honor.
Okay, and when did you block her? Give me some idea when that date was.
Probably about 2 years prior, Your Honor.
Okay, so you went 2 years without hearing anything from Ms. Costic.
Yes, sir.
And then on the 17th of April, there's this fence issue that, I don't know whether it's damage to the fence or the fact that dogs can go back and forth, whatever. That becomes an issue and this sort of takes off.
Yes, sir.
Okay. how long after the fence was damaged was it fixed? week?
About 7 days, about a
Okay.
week. We had someone come up and.
So it was during that 7-day period that you're referring to here where this was constant back and forth about what you described as her yelling at you and criticizing you. Is that correct?
That was just on the 17th, Your Honor, during
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so outside of the 17th of April, Ms. Costic doesn't say anything to you. You've blocked her on the text, so if she's sending you stuff, you're not getting it.
Yes, sir.
And everything we've discussed today then revolves around the 17th of April.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Coker, let's do this. Why don't you ask some questions of Ms. Costic, the main points that you want the court to consider.
Thank you. Ms. Costic, so we met and you submitted a declaration that addressed the history with the petitioners in this case, correct?
Yes.
And so if you could just, we've heard about an incident involving a tree. Let me start with that. That was a couple years ago.
Yes.
And you submitted some text messages that were surrounding that time, correct?
Yes.
If you could just describe to the court what happened, what was the incident with the tree?
December 2021, a neighbor on the other side of the Duplechains had let me know that there was a tree falling. There had been interaction. The tree was falling from someone else's property onto theirs. I received text from Willow and Yavana stating that I needed to call to find out who did it. I could arrange for the insurance to come take care of that. I responded to either Willow or Yavana and I said, I don't understand this. This is a tree on someone else's property falling through knocking over your fence. So there is a current issue which they remedied starting May 3rd.
We're
And
not there yet. We're just at the tree issue 2 years ago.
So
I know, I'll get to that. Okay, so that was the tree issue. Was there anything more of that tree issue?
no, and the last texts are submitted as evidence there from 2021 or
Right.
Jan 2022 of my contact.
Okay, so then we spin forward to April 17th, which is addressed in the petition, correct? Is that yes?
Yes.
Just answer out loud for the record. And have you had some issues with their dogs, with the neighbors, with the petitioner's dogs in the interim?
Yes.
Okay, just kind of describe to the court. We have some photos and what those photos show.
No insult to the dogs because the neglect of the homeowner and inhabitants have led the dogs to come out. So in 2021, their dogs would both come out. There is a picture of their white dog on my front porch. There is a picture of their black dog in my yard. I have 2 dogs and they, when my dog, and I just had 1 dog at the time, and when she was in the yard, their dogs would come through because they didn't have the fence completed. So there was a totally open spot, maybe blackberry bushes or something, and would come through, antagonize my dog. There was an episode in August of 2021 where I actually had to go to the emergency room. I took care of it. I did therapy for my hand because I've got stuff to do. I didn't bother them with something. Then I think eventually they finished their fence. And last year, the fence that's farther south, they had, their dog was coming through the fillers of the fence and had broken it. I reaffixed it. I'd messaged Yavana April 17th, or no, August 27th of 2023, and just said, I'm happy to adhere the fence again because it had been multiple times that the fence had come through and I just needed to nail the filler back. I never heard, I didn't address it. I did create another fence. So do you want me to speak of April?
Then I want you to get to what happened on April 17th.
So April 17th, because I'm documenting the fence and the filler, and there are photos in the exhibit of the fillers. Because when they do come through, I want to say here, this is what this looked like now, this is what this looks like. And so there was more coming through. And I had created a secondary barrier to a small woodshed that's 8x8 or 7x7 connected to the gate. And so I was videoing the dog because they were coming through. My dogs are not even in there. You know, they want to engage, they want to interact. That's fine. They're dogs. And then I went back to go sit down. I wasn't even in view. And then Willow came out and she said, are you photographing my dogs, honey? Or, you know, and she came out. I can't see her because it's a very steep hill. And not only is it a 6 feet fence, which in their petition, it's referenced as 5, but I don't know what she's wearing. And so I had to come out because I had already gone into a part of my yard. I don't think they have full view of that part, but they do have a lot of views of my yard and apparently monitor when I'm in and out of my house per the petition. So I came back and I asked her, I said, would you take care of the fence? And then there's a tree that's coming over, leaning over my property. And then she said, you don't work. Nobody in the neighborhood likes you. I'm this age, you're this age. And it's just personal attacks. I have 2 topics that I have spoken with these folks about. Their tree issues, especially a couple years before when they were telling me to take care of it, and the dog issues. It's just safety. It's just basic. And I could have been very nasty. I could have called animal control the multiple times that they were in my yard or worse. But I care about the dogs. There's weird references in there too, all kinds of stuff, and it's fiction.
Did you, and that issue on the 17th, did you, Miss Duplechain made it, she sounds like very much like a victim of that, you approaching her, but actually she's the one that came out.
Yep.
And did she ever call you put in your declaration a fucking psycho?
Yep.
Yeah, and did she, I mean, it sounds like she said to you what she's claiming you said to her.
Very projected, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever posted any pictures or videos onto the internet of either of these folks?
No.
When Miss Yavana Duplechain claims that she comes out in whatever kind of dresses, do you have any idea what she's talking about?
No, and per Willow's petition, she states that why do I go in my house when they come out? That is something that Willow wrote. Like, why does she go in her house when they come out? I don't want to interact with them because they have gone to other neighbors and called other neighbors names. Like called very nice neighbor an old man and just went over and insulted him. I don't
have any other questions.
Hearsay.
Hearsay, Your Honor. Not relevant.
All right. What's the purpose of taking photos?
to monitor when their dogs actually do come through again, because they had broken the filler and there are photos.
For
No,
what
yours
purpose?
broke the filler.
Okay, don't, one witness at a time, please.
Constant issue.
Okay, for what purpose are you taking the photos?
I'm taking the photos because I've asked in a text message to Yavana to take care of the fence August 27th of 2023. It hadn't been addressed. So I had remedied that by putting logs up against the fence, because in one of the pictures, the entire post is coming through. Then later on, as time goes by, that filler post is broken and the dog's head is through. So I'm taking those to prevent, so they can't say it's my fault or whatnot, because they have in the past told me to take care of things that are their responsibility. And now that I have read the petition and know that they're monitoring my inside and outside.
No, we're not.
Okay, so your purpose is to take a photo of their dog attempting to get into your property or on your property. And you want to show it to Yavana Duplechain, the property owner adjacent to you, and say, we have a problem. Can we get it fixed? That's your point, is the point of the taking the. photos?
So when the dogs actually do come onto my property, I don't want them to tell me that I need to take care of it or it's my fault. Because if there's
I know, I understand,
documented,
but that's why you're taking the photos. To show Ms. Duplechain, see, your dog is on my property. Okay, so you have no reason to take photos onto their property.
no, and these.
Your only photos you're taking are of your property
Mhm.
and the fence line.
The day of when Willow Duplechain initiated contact with me after she was berating me, I did start to film her with my camera, but my camera doesn't have, or my phone, but it doesn't have memory. So it's not, and I can't see her.
Okay. Is that the only time you've done a video?
Yes, of that person or her other
Okay.
inhabitants there. Their dog.
And can you think of any reason you need to video them or their dogs on their property?
I haven't videoed them
Okay.
on their
And
property,
you don't
only
see
on
any-
mine.
Any reason you need to do that?
No, and I have not ever.
All right,
Your Honor, may I address?
okay,
what
hold
you
on,
said about-
hold on. I'll let you know who's next. Willow, it's your petition. You get the last factual word. Anything else you want to add?
Yes, sir. Miss Costic did belittle me, calling me names because I'm a hairdresser. She did scream my name very loudly that all the neighbors heard. So I do want to add that. Of course, she's not willing to say that. And she did videotape me above my fence as I was walking away. Yes, she did, Your Honor. I do want her to delete any photos she does have. The memory thing, I'm not buying. So the fence issue was fixed. It's not about the fence or the dogs.
May I address myself one last word, Your Honor?
Okay,
please?
go ahead.
Okay. As far as Ms. Costic contacting me, I changed my phone number about a year and a half ago. I've never heard from her. B, the first tree issue she had that she supposedly, she texted me, yes. I was concerned about her because the tree was so huge that it was caught between two spindly. If it fell, it would have taken her out in her bed. Okay. I contacted her out of concern for her. 3, when I first moved in, I purchased the house. I didn't realize there was an opening in the gate, in the fence. I didn't walk behind the trees to see that. When I found that out, I hired a contractor. He put the fence up, and that was up maybe a week after we found out that our dogs were in her yard. Okay. We have remedied everything that is necessary. We do not watch her. I could care less what Sarah does with her life. Okay. The problem is the videotaping of my daughter without her consent, and she's not allowed to do that, period. I don't care if it has, she says it's about the dogs, it's not. Okay. And not videotaping me as well, because we haven't addressed that
All right, thank you.
against my, yeah. Thank you, sir.
In this case, the petitioner Willow Duplechain resides with her mother on her mother's property. There are 2 dogs resident on that property. There's at least 1 dog resident on the adjacent property owned by Ms. Costic, maybe 2 dogs now, I'm not sure. And dogs and fence have been seemingly the primary issue of contention between the parties over a period of a few years, I guess is the best way to say it. It appears that since the 17th of April with repairs to the fence, and I've been told the Duplechains have a new fence up, that those issues should be now resolved. There is a concern by Ms. Duplechain that she was videoed on a specific day, the 17th of April, and photos were taken previously, seemingly mostly of the dogs. But her concern is that there would be no reason for Ms. Costic to have taken a video of Ms. Duplechain as the 2 of them engaged in a verbal disagreement or altercation. And her concern was that might be posted somewhere. Ms. Costic indicates she's not posted anything. She acknowledges doing the videotape on the 17th of April. And subsequent to the 17th of April, there's been no contact between the parties. With that understanding, I'm going to deny the request for a protection order. What I will say is that Ms. Duplechain has made it very clear, Ms. Costic, that she does not want you to have any contact with her, to say nothing to her. And certainly there would be no basis for you to photo or videotape Ms. Duplechain. If you're going to take photos of dogs coming into your yard, you're welcome to do that for purposes that you have described. But taking photos of Ms. Duplechain are totally inappropriate. And she can come back and file a petition saying after the court hearing, she continues to do that, and that will change it, how the court looks at things. But for now, I will not grant the order. And likewise, I would recommend Willow Duplechain, you not say anything to Ms. Costic either. I'm not entering an order, but I'm trying to reduce the friction points here. I will say that Yavana, it's Yavana? Yes, Yavana Duplechain early on issued an invitation to Ms. Costic that if there are issues with the dogs, you could come speak with her. I don't know. The two of you aren't parties on an order here, but sounds like with the fence being fixed or installed, that hopefully will not be an issue going forward. I've denied the order. I hope the two of you respect each other's requests, that is dogs on property and no contact between Ms. Costic and Ms. Duplechain, Willow Duplechain. All right, and we'll get a copy for Ms. Costic, who's present in court, and Ms. Duplechain, you can get a copy of the order. It's in your electronic, or will be shortly in your electronic file, district court, or you can come in and get one. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.